Here's another one of my favorite books. It's called The Sheep of the Lal Bagh by David Mark, illustrated by Lionel Kalish. And as you can tell, it's set in another country. So here is a picture of what that country's houses might look like. Do you have any ideas what country it might be? In the little city in the heart of India, there was a big park called the Lal Bagh. There's another picture of it, so you can see all the details. From miles around, the people who worked very hard came to the Lal Bagh to relax and enjoy themselves on holidays. There is a lot of hard work in India, but there are also a lot of holidays. They came to see the big white petals of the lotus flowers opening and closing in the pond, and the rubbery plants and stickly plants and curly plants in the glass house, and the flame of the forest trees that dotted the sky with orange, and the water in the fountain making rainbow splashes. But most of all, they came to see the lawnmower. Now, I'm not sure why anybody would come to see a lawnmower. That's an interesting thing to come see. This was not a very new or modern lawnmower. It did not cut the grass very quickly. In fact, it was not a machine. What could it be? What kinds of things besides machines cut grass? It was a sheep. His name was Ramesh. Every morning, just at sunrise, he started at one corner of the lawn. He bent his head and cropped the grass close to the ground. On holidays, his mowing was very special. On the solemn holidays, he mowed in large circles that got smaller and smaller until he reached the middle. On the happy holidays, he started at the center and mowed out to the corners and the sides until the lawn was shaped like a star. Ramesh took a lot of pride in his work. His holiday mowing took a long time because there were many interruptions. The men came over and patted him on the back. They grinned and said, "Ramesh." The women came over and rubbed his head. They smiled and said, "Ramesh." And the children came over and got on his back, and he took them for slow jogging rides. They laughed and shouted, "Ramesh." So there they all are. Ramesh, 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 Ramesh. Rajendra was one of these men, and his wife Kamala was one of these women, and their son Krishna was one of these children. They had lived on a farm in the country, but they had lost their land and had come to the city. The Lal Bagh reminded them of the country, and Ramesh reminded them of their farm. It seemed to make them all feel better just to say, "Ramesh, Ramesh, Ramesh." But the mayor of the little town in the heart of India was not satisfied with his lawnmower. He called the park master. "We must have a machine to mow the lawn," he said. "But we can't afford it," replied the park master. "The people want to be proud of their city," cried the mayor. "They will pay for it." I don't think the park master is so convinced about this idea. He looks a little concerned. The people paid for the machine. Rajendra and Kamala and Krishna contributed their few pennies too. They wanted to be proud of the city as long as they had to live in it. They did not understand the machine was going to take Ramesh's place. The first time Ramesh saw the machine cutting the grass, he turned. With his head down, he walked out of the park, up a hill, and out of sight. He has his head down and he's walking away. How do you think he feels? He joined a flock of grazing sheep. They did not understand why he ate the grass in circles or star shapes. They never knew why. Every now and then he raised his head and stood looking down the hill with big, sad eyes. So they just went about their munching and left him alone. And look, you can see he has a tear in his eye. On the next holiday, Rajendra and Kamala and Krishna and a lot of other people went to the Lal Bagh as usual. They enjoyed the lotuses in the pond and the plants in the glass house, the water in the fountain and the orange blossoms of the trees. But when they got to the lawn, there was no Ramesh, only a machine. So this is a push mower. So it's kind of not a very advanced machine. I wonder how many of you have ever mowed a lawn with a push mower. They could not pat a machine or rub a machine's head or climb on a machine's back and ask it for a ride. So little by little, the people stopped coming to the park. Work days or holidays, nobody came. The mayor called in the park master. "Where are the people?" he cried. "They don't come since Ramesh left," said the park master. "We must find that sheep," roared the mayor. Oh, look, he looks pretty upset. Didn't work out the way he planned. A committee was appointed to find Ramesh, but a committee really can't tell one sheep from another, so they could not find him. All the sheep look the same. How would you find Ramesh? Then Rajendra and Kamala and Krishna went up the hill to look for Ramesh. Rajendra thought she could recognize Ramesh from the way his woolly body felt, and Kamala thought she could recognize him by the look in his eyes. So Rajendra started at one end of the flock patting, and Kamala started at the other end looking. They could not seem to find Ramesh, but Krishna noticed one sheep off by himself eating the grass in neat circles around a banyan tree. I guess there aren't too many sheep that eat grass in circles, are there? "Ramesh!" he cried as he jumped on the sheep's back. "A ride, Ramesh, a ride!" And that is how Ramesh came back to the Lal Bagh. Now the machine mows the lawn very straight and very fast, only on work days. Rajendra and Kamala and Krishna and all the other people feel proud that their park is up to date this way. Of course, they don't get a chance to see the machine very often because they are working. About the only one who sees it is Ramesh. He does not mind now, and he does not hang his head, because on the holidays, he is the lawnmower. So they came up with a good compromise so that Ramesh could be happy and the people could be happy, and they could also use the lawnmower. When he was not having his back patted by men like Rajendra or his head rubbed by women like Kamala, he makes solemn circles in the grass between the green plants in the glass house and the white lotuses in the pond. And when he is not taking children like Krishna on his back and giving them little rides, he eats happy stars in the grass between the rainbow splashes of the fountain and the orange blossoms of the trees. And that star that he's eating says, "The End."